rude. These are some celebrities who have exposed the rudest, meanest, crudest celebrities they've ever met. Sharon Osborne versus Ashton Kutcher. Sharon called Ashton the rudest celebrity she's ever met. She has never been to, one to mask her true feelings, and she got very candid about her worst experiences with a celebrity, which happens to be Ashton Kutcher. While playing a game called Stirring the Pot in an E! News segment, she started to talk about him, although at first she didn't even remember his name. She said, the guy that's married to an actress, and he used to do that 70s show. Her daughter, Kelly Osborne, reminded her that, it was Ashton Kutcher, and Sharon confirmed that, yeah, that's who she meant. She said, yes, oh, rude little boy. She went on to call Kutcher a dastardly little thing, whatever that means, and she didn't actually offer any further details about what he did that made her find him so rude, but that's exactly why the internet exists. So back in 2018, Sharon sat down with the late Larry King, who asked her whether she'd ever done an interview on The Talk that didn't go the way she expected. For reference, she was a co-host on the CBS talk show The Talk from 2010 to 2021. She said to Larry, we've had a couple of meanies. For me, everybody's take is different. Somebody can come in and I can go, that was amazing, and the other girls will go, do you think? But I didn't get on with one guy. That was Ashton Kutcher. King called Kutcher a tech guy, seemingly in reference to his early investments in companies like Uber and Airbnb, but Sharon clarified that he's an actor. She continued to say, I didn't get on with him at all. As King informed her that Kutcher was once the highest paid actor on television, Sharon rolled her eyes and said, Lordy Lord. When asked what she didn't like about the actor, she claimed that he has a bad attitude, which she acknowledged may have been because she mispronounced his name during his appearance on The Talk. She recalled it and said, so he was mad and he comes on with an attitude and he goes, and what are you? What have you done in the industry? And I was like, kid, don't start with me because I'm gonna eat you up and crap you out. I was just like, you don't know what you're dealing with, kid. Kutcher has never once commented on the alleged beef between him and Sharon and likely never will. A lot of fans, after the incident didn't actually take Sharon seriously because apparently she's known for being awful herself. One person on social media said, I believe most of the things said about Ashton, but this coming from her is hilarious. And another person shared a story saying she hired the company I worked for one time and she was absolutely horrible to deal with. We still laugh about it. Well, based off these reports, I guess kettle meet pot. JoJo Siwa versus Candace Cameron Burr. Well, whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, the evening TV? Well, no one would have predicted this beef. Certainly not me. But yes, JoJo Siwa, known for being on Dance Moms as a kid and known for being just, JoJo Siwa as an adult, called out Candace Cameron, known for playing DJ Tanner on the 90s hit show Full House and for playing in like every Hallmark Channel Christmas movie for the past 7 years, was called out by JoJo. JoJo said that Candace was the rudest celebrity she's ever met after Candace denied her an autograph when JoJo was just 11 years old. JoJo also shared people who she would never invite on her podcast and basically anybody named Candace. On an episode of her iHeartRadio podcast, JoJo Siwa Now, she revealed celebrities that she's not messing with. And at first she said Candace Owens. She explained how Candace Owens questioned her individuality when she first came out and continued to speak negatively about her and how she refused any further communication with her. The following person she revealed she would never invite was Candace Cameron Burr. 2 years after their very public beef, their viral feud began actually in July of 2022 as part of a TikTok challenge in what JoJo described as an accident. JoJo recalled the moment she was 11 and asked Burr for a photo, but was denied because it just wasn't a good time for her. However, Candace still took photos with other people instead. JoJo said it really was an accident and that she didn't mean for the whole thing to go viral. She said, to me, it was personally the rudest celebrity I'd ever met. She wasn't nice to me when I met her. That doesn't mean she's an awful person. That just means that she was the rudest person that I've ever met. Whatever, I flashed the photo quick and thought no one was going to ever see it. JoJo admitted that she felt guilty about the viral beef since they had mutual friends, but that quickly went away. She did continue to say, but then I found out some things about about Candace that I was like, wait, this is actually pretty valid. And I found out some shady things that she has done and some, shady organizations that she has worked with. It goes back to wanting to stand up for my people, but not wanting to create drama that doesn't necessarily need to be there. Candace initially apologized for the rude interaction, but JoJo took issue with her comments about joining the Great American Family Network in November of 2022, in which Candace said she would keep traditional marriage at the core in response to a question about the inclusion of same-sex marriages on the channel. Ultimately, JoJo has now said that there's no real shade anymore between the stars, but she still wouldn't have her on her podcast. To be honest, I really don't think Candace cares. Ronda Rousey versus Justin Bieber. Ronda Rousey is a UFC champion, and so the last thing anyone wants to do is get on her bad side, but leave it to Justin Bieber to do just that. The MMA champ told Cosmopolitan magazine that the pop star pissed her off at the Cannes Film Festival when he was rude to her little sister. So Rousey explained how her sibling was pretty unfazed by anyone at the festival with the exception of Bieber. Unfortunately, when Rousey went up to the singer to ask for a photo for her little sis, the Biebs completely blew her off. She said, Justin Bieber was actually really rude to my little sister at the Cannes Film Festival. My little sister is very hard to impress, and so she really didn't care about anyone who was there, but I wanted to spend some time with her. She continued to say Justin Bieber was over there taking some pictures with some ladies, and she suddenly got really excited and she was like, do you think you would want to take a picture with me? And I was like, don't worry about it. Look at him. He's such a sweetheart. However, when Rousey walked over and asked for a photo, he gave her the cold shoulder. She continued to say he was like, I've already taken 1 billion pictures today, okay? 1 billion. Rousey then recalled that he walked off and just totally snubbed her little sister. And she looks at me and she's like on the verge of tears and she goes, I'm no longer a believer. At that moment, Rousey admits that she too stopped believing. Justin actually once addressed Ronda's remarks in an interview with Entertainment Tonight. During the conversation, Bieber claimed he actually had no recollection of those events. He said, I guess supposedly she asked for a picture with her sister or something, and I guess I said no. He continued to say, I don't remember this happening, so Ronda, I'm sorry, don't kick my butt. Spencer Pratt versus Lisa Kudrow. Spencer Pratt and Lisa Kudrow have been involved in a celebrity feud, with Pratt calling Kudrow like the rudest celebrity he's ever met. Pratt made the comment in a TikTok video, and Bethany Frankel, a reality star, agreed with him. In 2009, Pratt and his wife Heidi Montag, both of whom you may know from the show The Hills, that was a mid-2000s reality type show that showcased a bunch of rich kids living in California, wearing Hollister and smelling like an Abercrombie & Fitch store, were invited to an elite celebrity party. Kudrow, who you know famously for her role as Phoebe in the show Friends, approached Pratt and Montag. Now, Lisa told Heidi to get away from Pratt as soon as possible because she thought he was going to unalive her because he had the eyes of a maniac. Montag waited to see if Kudrow was joking, but Kudrow didn't laugh and just walked away, which honestly is really funny to me because I'm imagining that whole scenario in my head and it's just chef's kiss, And to clarify, DV is not funny or a laughing matter, but just the randomness of this all is hilarious. Pratt said that this was the rudest moment he's ever experienced in his life, which says a lot, while also not saying that much, to be honest. However, one celebrity, Bethany Frankel, had Pratt's back, saying, that's crazy, yeah, she was on my talk show and I had a crazy experience with her also. But Diane Keane, for whatever reason, felt the need to chime in on this and actually defended Lisa Kudrow, saying nothing but positive things about her. My assumption is that Lisa was joking, but when they didn't catch on to the joke, she just decided to walk away, which is again hilarious in its own right. Many people online have said that Lisa is known to actually be a bit of an a-hole sometimes, but agreed that Spencer indeed does have crazy eyes. So therefore, if her concern, was legit, it's warranted.
Starting us off at number 10, we have Kendall Jenner. In an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kendall Jenner got real about people thinking she's a mean girl. During a confessional, she opened up about the misconceptions she's heard about herself. Kendall shared how it's upsetting when someone questions her character, adding that if only people knew her, they would see that she's not mean at all. But things took a turn when Kendall appeared in a TikTok video with her friends Hailey Bieber and Justin Sky. The trio lip-synced to an audio that seemed to throw shade at a certain someone, and viewers called them out for this. This just seemed to fuel the perception that Kendall is a mean girl. As if that wasn't enough, an old video of Kendall belittling Kylie on the show Life of Kylie resurfaced online. In this clip, Kendall can be seen criticizing Kylie's appearance in front of her friends. People took issue with her comments and called her out for her mean behavior. However, this isn't the first time tension between Kendall and Kylie had been captured on their reality shows. Kylie has referred to Kendall as mean before and admitted that they wouldn't be friends if they weren't sisters. So it looks like despite Kendall's efforts to address the mean girl perception, these incidents seem to show otherwise. Yikes. Next at number 9, we have Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey is thought by many to be the ultimate diva, and she has a reputation for being a bit mean and demanding. One gem that she's been quoted for is when she straight up said, "I don't do stairs" during a concert rehearsal. Yeah, seriously. It's stories like these that make the public see her as over the top and diva-like. And let's not forget when she claimed she didn't know certain successful artists like J-Lo and Ariana Grande, as if she's been living in her own superstar bubble. But it's not just her outrageous quotes that contribute to her mean reputation. Mariah has been known to treat her staff poorly and act unprofessionally. Apparently, she once demanded 20 whole kittens and 100 white doves for a performance. Who needs that many animals? She also insists on having her own personal lighting team travel with her. Talk about diva demands. There are also stories of her throwing tantrums, showing up late for interviews, and canceling events at last minute. It's no wonder why people think she's difficult to work with. Many fans think that maybe all of that fame has gone to her head. Next at number 8, we have Ellen DeGeneres. Once a beloved talk show host with a global fan base, Ellen DeGeneres saw her reputation crumble when revelations surfaced about her ruthless treatment of employees off camera, painting her as a genuinely mean-spirited person. Ironically, her motto of "be kind" backfired spectacularly as former employees began to step forward, sharing their stories of horror with Ellen. In a BuzzFeed article, she was labeled a bully, accused of creating a toxic work environment by one current and 10 former employees who bravely spoke out anonymously. These individuals confirmed what had previously been mere rumors, shedding light on Ellen's demanding behavior. According to one TV writer, Ellen required anyone who wished to speak with her at work to chew gum from a bowl outside her office, and she would send staff members home to shower if she felt they smelled bad. While the accusations have not impacted her financial status, Ellen's image has been irreparably tarnished, and it's almost impossible to find supporters of her on the internet today. Next at number 7 is Hailey Bieber. When it comes to celebrities being mean in real life, Hailey Bieber's situation takes an interesting twist. It all started with Selena Gomez sharing a TikTok video about her eyebrow lamination gone wrong. She jokingly admitted that her brows didn't turn out as planned when trying to replicate Bella Hadid's iconic look. Then Kylie Jenner jumped in and posted an Instagram story with the text, "This was an accident," overlaying her own eyebrows. But here's the kicker. In the next slide, Jenner shared a close-up pic of Hailey Bieber's brows, seemingly from a FaceTime call where they both showed off their eyebrows. Fans immediately thought they were taking a jab at Selena. Jenner later denied any shade towards Selena, saying fans were blowing things out of proportion. But the eyebrow picture's timing and overall vibe were pretty suspicious to fans. Things have just seemed to have gotten worse from this point, and now it seems Hailey might never be able to shake off the mean girl label. At number 6 is Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence may not be as nice to her fans as one would expect. In a candid conversation with comedian Adam Sandler during Variety's Actors on Actors series in 2017, they discussed how they handled the attention from fans. While Adam described Jennifer as famously approachable, she disagreed and dropped a bombshell. According to her, once she steps into a public place, she becomes incredibly rude, even turning into a huge a-hole, as she puts it in her own colorful language. Jennifer doesn't hesitate to shut down fans who approach her for a selfie, and if you happen to spot her in a restaurant while she's trying to enjoy her meal, don't be surprised if she shoots you a sour look and waves you off, claiming she's not working that day. Now, it's worth mentioning that this info is based on Jennifer Lawrence's own words, and it's possible that she was just shedding light on the challenges of dealing with fame rather than genuinely being mean. But it's understandable that Jennifer has chosen to adopt a guarded and less friendly attitude in public. So if you ever run into Jennifer Lawrence, don't expect a warm and fuzzy interaction. Next, at number 5, we have Lea Michele. Lea Michele, the actress who portrayed the most arrogant character on Glee, is facing a significant backlash as her reputation as one of the meanest celebrities in Hollywood comes to light. Despite Glee contributing to her rise in fame, it appears that her mistreatment of the cast and crew on set has caught up with her. Several individuals, including actress Samantha Ware, have spoken out against Michelle's behavior, with Ware recounting instances of the silent treatment, stare downs, looks, comments under her breath, and weird passive aggressiveness she experienced after her first performance. Following Samantha's revelation, numerous co-stars, film crew members, and staff members took to social media to share their own stories about Michelle's diva-like behavior. There were even reports suggesting that she only communicated through her assistant and completely ignored the presence of her co-stars. Although Michele issued an apology, her past actions continue to be remembered, and when it was announced that she would replace actress Beanie Feldstein in the Broadway production of Funny Girl, fans expressed their outrage, with some even calling for a boycott. At number 4, we have Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams, the host of The Wendy Williams Show for a whopping 14 years, definitely didn't hold back when it came to her on-air antics. Let's just say she didn't need anyone to call her out for being rude, because she did it all on her own. She once downplayed actor Terry Crews's bravery for speaking out about his SA, basically saying it wasn't a big deal since he was a big man. And remember that cringe-worthy moment when she asked young actor Marcus Scribner about his sex life live on the show? Awkward doesn't even begin to cover it, especially with his dad right there on set. Poor Marcus looked uncomfortable and did his best to dodge the question. And let's not forget the time she made fun of Ariana Grande's appearance, claiming that because she's petite, she doesn't look like a woman. While most of us know body shaming is never okay, it's clear that she never hesitated to say whatever mean thoughts popped into her head. And believe me, these examples are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Wendy's mean streak. At number 3, we have Katy Perry. Katy Perry has been a music icon for over a decade now, but her career seems to have gone steeply downhill after she became a judge on American Idol. In fact, Katy recently made a surprising announcement on social media, stating that she wants to quit the popular singing competition show. She expressed concerns about being portrayed as a nasty judge due to the editing done by the show's producers. This decision comes amidst a wave of controversy and scandal surrounding Katy during the current season of American Idol, and it seems like it's all becoming too overwhelming for her. In one notable incident from the recent season, Katy had an interesting reaction when a contestant, ever after her audition, Sarah announced her decision to return to California and be with her family, claiming that she wasn't cut out for show business. Later on, Sarah took to TikTok to call Katy out for the joke, which she felt was both mom-shaming and inappropriate. And let's not forget the time she stole a contestant's first kiss. Gross. At number 2, we have Jennifer Lopez. Though there are many instances of JLo being accused of being mean, including talking down to her husband Ben Affleck, let's talk about one from back in 2014 first. Back in 2014, Jennifer Lopez had an awkward moment on American Idol when one of her biggest fans, Ronald Reed, broke down in tears after being rejected. Ronald was not only determined to win American Idol, but also had a mission to fight poverty and make the world a better place. Jennifer had to be honest with him and told Ronald that his voice wasn't strong enough. Keith Urban stepped in to soften the blow and reassured Ronald that he was sweet, while Reed desperately searched for his confidence after Jennifer made fun of his lack of melody. And of course, another rumor Jennifer would definitely try to deny is how controlling she has been said to be. Several sources have spoken up about the state of Jennifer and Ben Affleck's marriage, mentioning numerous things that annoy her about him. In addition to his smoking habit, it appears Ben might have a cleanliness problem as well. The source shared Ben doesn't clean up after himself, which irritates Jennifer. The source also criticized Jennifer's approach to nagging her husband, saying she's been known to yell at him and point her finger. It makes people wonder if she mistakes him for a dog. And finally, at number 1, we have Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber has been in the industry since a very young age, and unfortunately, it seems like this might have done some damage to him. From spitting on fans to feuding with neighbors, it seems there are way more negative stories about Justin than positive ones. However, one thing fans recently started to pick up on is Justin being rude to his wife, Hailey. He's been caught on live streams putting her down, and there are even clips of him slamming the car door in her face. One clip shows him leaving her behind in a crowd of paparazzi while he gets away on a skateboard. And that particular clip ends with Hailey falling flat on her face while trying to chase after him. Yikes. Another thing fans noticed was how he didn't defend his wife during her feud with Selena Gomez. So not only does he not seem like the nicest guy, but he might be a bad husband as well.
These are the rudest celebrities that need to eat a slice or two of humble pie in 2025. In Hollywood, a little bit of self-confidence goes a long way, and a lot of it, most of the time, goes even further. An overly robust ego is particularly a job requirement in the wayward world of showbiz, and the industry is crawling with stars who could benefit from a generous slice of humble pie or two. If actor Katherine Heigl can brag about anything, it's a knack for drumming up boatloads of bad press. There are so many articles dedicated solely to expressing hatred for her. Hollywood insiders have accused her of creating difficult situations, and the story seems to check out. After working with the actor on Grey's Anatomy, Shonda Rhimes now uses Heigl as shorthand for troublesome talent. There are no Heigls in this situation, she told The Hollywood Reporter in 2014 while fondly describing the cast of Scandal. She went on to further say, "I don't put up with bullcrap or nasty people. I don't have time for it." Heigl's bad reputation stems largely from her decision to decline a second Emmy nomination for Grey's Anatomy in 2008. She released a wince-inducing public statement that claimed she simply wasn't given the material this season to warrant an Emmy nomination. Then the actress goes into overdrive saying, "In an effort to maintain the integrity of the Academy organization, I withdrew my name from contention." It was also reported that Heigl will occasionally disparage her own film, saying of the film Knocked Up, where she stars with Seth Rogen, that it was hard for her to love the movie. She acknowledged that she may have something of an image problem and she needs to get a little more settled in her own skin. There's also been so many reports of her on-set behavior. Many have said that she's just difficult and rude on set, including allegations of tardiness, moodiness, and even disagreements with directors and co-stars. Heigl, of course, has denied some of these incidents and has spoken publicly about the challenges of being a woman in Hollywood. Next up, we have Kanye West. Dissecting Kanye's arrogance could swallow your whole day, basically. Magazines like Time have dedicated entire features to cataloging the prolific exploits of his ego. Kanye has been involved in numerous controversies and incidents that have led many to perceive him as rude or egotistical, and there's so many moments to choose from, but the one I know you know is coming is, of course, storming the stage at the 2009 MTV VMAs, when West interrupted Taylor Swift's acceptance speech, grabbing the mic and shouting, "I'm sorry, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time." In 2015, West actually walked on stage again at the Grammys, this time as Beck accepted his award for Best Album, appearing to protest the decision. And let's not forget the time West abruptly paused his interview with Conan O'Brien because he had to use the bathroom really bad. In 2013, West engaged in a heated Twitter exchange with the late night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel, who had spoofed West's interview with BBC Radio 1. West also has an ongoing feud with rapper and singer Drake, with the two of them engaging in a series of diss tracks. Kanye West had shown just how egotistical he really is when he compared himself to Steve Jobs and Michael Jackson. He declared himself as the greatest artist of all time, with more innovative genius in him than anyone else on the planet. That is like such a reach, my gosh. Another incident is when West used a wheelchair as a prop during a concert, which of course sparked criticism from disability advocates. So, while West's behavior has undoubtedly been polarizing, it is worth noting that he has also been praised for his artistry, entrepreneurial spirit, and social justice causes. If he could just tone his ego down a notch, that would be great. Up next, we have Jennifer Lopez, and considering the mountain of claims against her over the years, this shouldn't actually be a surprise. She's faced a lot of criticism and accusations of being rude or diva-like over the years, and in a notorious 1998 interview, a motormouth Jennifer Lopez said of Madonna, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can do that, I can act. I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." This is so funny coming from JLo, because anyone who's ever caught a screening of Geely knows that Lopez is like a nuanced performer who lacks depth and will likely never see an Oscar with her name on it in her lifetime, or even our lifetime. Now, her rudeness isn't solely reserved for wealthy entertainers though. She's also allegedly unpleasant with people who work in service positions. In 2012, an emotionally wounded flight attendant contacted the press about his interaction with Lopez. He said that he asked her, "What can I get you to drink?" But Jennifer refused to even acknowledge him. She turned her head away, looked at someone else, actually went to her personal assistant and said, "Please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke and a lime." She wouldn't even look at him. He went on to say it was sad because, she seemed so sweet in her movies. That's why it's called acting, honey. But there's been so many reports of Lopez being demanding and difficult to work with on film and music sets. She allegedly had a trailer with specific requirements, including a particular type of toilet paper. A lot of former employees and assistants have come forward with claims of being treated so poorly by Lopez, including being yelled at or belittled. And JLo has also been known to have a very long list of demands for events and appearances, including specific lighting, sound, and even furniture requirements, like every piece of furniture needs to be white for some reason. The media has often portrayed Lopez as a diva or a demanding celebrity, which may have perpetuated the public's perception of her as rude, but if you give them nothing to write about, then you won't be written about. Isn't that the rule? So I think she gives too many opportunities to be talked about, and maybe that's what she wants, so who knows. To play devil's advocate for a second, she does have a strong personality, confidence, and high standards, which may have been interpreted as rudeness or diva-like behavior, but I still think she'd benefit from humbling herself a little bit, especially since her latest marriage has failed yet again. Adam Levine is up next. The Maroon 5 frontman wants to set the record straight. He told GQ in 2014, "I'm not arrogant, I'm cocky, it's different. Cocky is playful. I'm confident. Some people don't like confidence, they resent confidence." In fact, Levine is so confident he reportedly actually felt within his rights to tell GQ journalist Jessica Pressler how to frame her article about him. He said, "You know what the gist of this article is? Your opening line can be, 'You don't have to like me, but I'd prefer it if you did.'" He also made a statement to the Boston Globe back in 2007 that said, "You wouldn't be a complete band without a slightly cocky frontman, would you?" And if you're wondering how anyone could be this full of themselves, you've fallen right into Levine's trap, because he said in an interview a few years ago that he loves attention and he can't stand not having it. Adam has been known to lash out at fans, critics, and even his own bandmates during live performances. He also made public comments criticizing other musicians, including his fellow voice judge Christina Aguilera. His reaction to a fan jumping on stage to give him a hug went absolutely viral because of his dismissive and repulsed reaction. Many said he treated the fan like she was beneath him, and he went on to share an apology video, but that also didn't really sit that well with people either. Almost every interview he has done, he has come across as arrogant, dismissive, or uninterested, which definitely rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He actually even got into a public feud with the late comedian Joan Rivers, who criticized him for being rude and arrogant. Now, Adam has faced a bunch of criticism online for posting about social justice issues while also promoting his own products and services. Every time he is called out for his behavior, he has responded defensively or dismissively, which may have further fueled the perception that he's rude. One critic online shared a story and said, "Someone I know met Adam Levine backstage and was mad because he told Adam, 'You guys are good.' Adam said, 'I know,' and walked off." I think Adam forgets that without his fans, he wouldn't have made it this far. I think he needs maybe 3 slices of humble pie. That's probably in order for this pop star. Next, we have Blake Lively, who has been in the spotlight recently for all the drama surrounding her movie with Justin Baldoni, It Ends With Us, and the alleged inappropriate behavior from her co-star on and off set. In case you've somehow missed it, to give you a little context, Blake Lively filed a lawsuit against Justin, accusing him of harassment and attempting to damage her reputation. The lawsuit alleges that Baldoni engaged in inappropriate behavior on set. Lively claims that she reported these incidents to the film's producers and requested safeguards to ensure a safe working environment. However, she alleges that Baldoni and his team launched a smear campaign against her, attempting to portray her as difficult to work with and damaging her reputation. Unfortunately for Blake, however, her reputation has been damaged a long time ago. She's faced many accusations of being rude or entitled over the years, and there's been several rumors of Lively being extremely difficult on set, including allegations that she's always late to show up, she's moody, and makes ridiculous excessive demands. During her time on Gossip Girl, it was reported that she had feuds with Leighton Meester and Penn Badgley. Now, she's also given many interviews where she comes across as arrogant and entitled, and apparently apparently she is super dismissive and unfriendly to fans who have approached her for like autographs or photos. She seems to present a very perfect, polished image on social media, which many have looked at as unrelatable and just fake. One fan took to social media to share a story about Blake Lively, and she wrote, "My boyfriend works in the movie studios and concerts where we live and has done small to major movies and met some pretty big movie stars because of it. The worst person he's ever had to deal with was Blake Lively. He said she was the most entitled, snobbiest, and rudest person to deal with. She threw tantrums on set and she treated literally every single person like a POS, except for the director." A journalist called out Blake Lively for a 2016 interview that she's now referring to as the most uncomfortable interview situation she has ever experienced. But a source close to the actress says the exchange was sparked by the journalist's rude statement to Lively. Now, this Norwegian reporter, Kirsty Flott, uploaded a 4-minute interview with Lively to YouTube titled "The Blake Lively Interview That Made Me Want to Quit My Job." The viral video shows Lively and Cafe Society co-star Parker Posey speaking with Flott for a discussion on the Woody Allen film back in 2016. Flott wrote in the video's description, "Sitting down with Blake Lively and her co-star Parker Posey for Cafe Society is the most uncomfortable interview situation I have ever experienced. Is it not okay to congratulate someone on their pregnancy or to ask another woman about costume she's wearing in a film? Let me know what you think in the comments." Now, to give you some context to this, at the beginning of the clip, Flott congratulated Lively on her little bump. She was pregnant at the time. The interview was filmed actually around the time Lively was pretty far along with her and Ryan Reynolds' daughter Inez, who was born actually on September 30th, 2016, a few months just after Cafe Society opened in theaters. Now, Lively responded by saying the same to Flott. She said, "Congrats on your little bump." Now, after Lively and Posey had a side chat about lovely lady lumps, the reporter told the pair she thought the film was visually amazing before asking about their costumes. She said, "Did you guys like wearing those clothes?" Flott asked. "Everyone wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes as well," Lively asked Posey before Flott responded with, "I would." Without responding to Flott directly, Lively then continued talking to her co-star about the outfits worn by the men starring in the film. She said, "It's not just the women that have the clothes, but I feel like the women get the conversation." There were definitely mixed reactions from fans and critics, with one person saying, "You're a female journalist in Hollywood interviewing a working mom, and you can't come up with anything better to kick off the interview with than congrats on your little bump." Of course Blake got annoyed. But another person said if Blake thinks that was such a rude comment and justified her horrid behavior, she reeks of privilege and snobbery. Now, personally, I don't see why Blake was so offended, and to me, it's never that serious. Her response and attitude came off, really unprofessional and just passive-aggressive, unnecessary, and uncalled for.
Number 10, Rachel Ray. The celebrity cook has a reputation for being a meanie. Many fans in her audience have reported that before filming her show, she often avoids speaking to them and appears cold and disinterested, and just looks like she would rather be somewhere else. But it's not just her fans. In fact, several other famous chefs have publicly come out against her, saying that they straight up don't like her, including Martha Stewart and the late Anthony Bourdain. Even members of Ray's own family have turned against her. In 2013, scandal broke out after her aunt Geraldine tragically passed away while staying at Ray's house, but neither Ray nor her husband John showed up at the funeral. Instead, she was allegedly tweeting about cats, recipes, and TV shows, which led her cousin Gina Mesnick to speak out against her. She said, "I find it very insensitive and inappropriate. It just shows how demeaning Rachel was to my family on the day that we buried my mom after she died under such horrible circumstances." Her fan base is now practically non-existent. In fact, a good portion of the internet harbors a deep loathing for the chef. There's so many online forums dedicated to Rachel Ray slander. In fact, there's even a blog called Rachel Ray Sucks, and you can pretty much guess what kind of things people post on there. Number 9, Russell Crowe. The actor has a reputation for being outright mean to both his Hollywood peers and his fans, making him an extremely controversial figure in the industry. I mean, where do we start with Russell Crowe? First of all, there were rumors that he threatened any media platform that published stories about him having a fling with Courtney Love. But another great example is his overall attitude issued when he intimidated and attacked the producer of the BAFTA Awards for cutting his speech short and preventing him from reciting poetry. In 2005, he was charged with criminal possession of a weapon for allegedly throwing a phone and cutting a hotel clerk's eye, all because he was unable to get connected with his wife. One of the lesser talked about incidents involves him and rapper Azealia Banks. Crow forcibly removed her from a party that he was hosting. Not only was he said to have been violent, but he allegedly spat on her and used racist language. The Australian actor is also notoriously difficult to work with and is known for regularly shouting at his scriptwriters, yelling at them on phone calls while discussing the story. So it's safe to say that he not only lost a lot of film roles, but a lot of fans due to his outright nastiness. Number 8. Justin Bieber. In September of 2021, there was a shocking video posted on Twitter showing Justin running away from paparazzi and fully leaving Hailey Bieber while she falls to the ground. In the clip, you can see him get out of the car with his skateboard, then he just takes off without saying anything. At first it looks like he's alone and just doing his own thing, but then 1 second later Hailey appears in frame and she literally falls out of the car and looks flustered at the fact that she got left behind. To make things so much worse, this all happened on a busy street with so many people watching. She then sprints after him, obviously trying to catch up, but the thing is, Justin is already way out of sight. The whole incident must have been incredibly embarrassing for her, and that's exactly what the comments said. Someone wrote, "I know this keeps her awake every night, and that's why you shouldn't chase men." However, some fans were also very sympathetic to her situation, considering that a lot of people could relate to having a partner that just doesn't care about them. One person wrote, "As much as we may not like her, no female deserves to be treated like this by their husband. She deserves better regardless." Number 7. Chrissy Teigen. The 35-year-old cookbook author faced heavy criticism recently following reports of cyberbullying and extremely arrogant behavior, even for a Hollywood celebrity. So many celebs came forward to accuse Teigen, including Lindsay Lohan, Farrah Abraham, and Project Runway star Michael Costello, who all said that she was extremely cruel online. It was so bad, in fact, that she had to apologize for telling reality star Courtney Stodden to take her own life in 2011, and she only backpedaled on her comments when she was called out for them. When speaking about the incident, Teigen admitted that she was being, quote, an insecure, attention-seeking troll, but it later came out that she was also bullying little children, especially when talking about a 9-year-old in 2013. She tweeted, "Is it okay to call a small child cocky?" Not only that, but a clip of the model went viral when she hosted the Billboard Music Awards in May of 2015. She was making her way up to the stage when a woman tripped over her own gown and fell, but instead of stopping to help her up or even check to see if she's okay, Chrissy just kept strutting her stuff. So if anything, there's no doubt that she's definitely a mean celebrity. Number 6. Jay-Z. The rapper's arrogance was at an all-time high in 2013 when he was heavily criticized by social activist Harry Belafonte for what he believes is a lack of social responsibility, basically saying that he wasn't doing enough for the community. Jay-Z then responded in the worst way possible. He said, "I'm offended by that because first of all, and this is going to sound arrogant, but my presence is charity, just who I am, just like Obama's is." He went on to say that Obama provides hope whether he does anything or not, and the hope that he provides for a nation outside of America is enough. So basically he's saying that he does the same thing just by being famous. Not only that, but in 2012 Jay-Z dissed Robert De Niro, who was apparently a big fan of his music. The actor reportedly called Jay-Z 6 times to work with him and received a grand total of 0 calls back. De Niro then verbally confronted Jay-Z about the situation and said that it doesn't matter who you are, if someone calls you 6 times, you call them back, because that is just rude. Number 5. Azealia Banks. The rapper has a laundry list of celebrity beef, but for whatever reason, she chose to come after Doja Cat in the worst way possible. Azealia went on a huge rant on her Instagram story last year, insulting both her looks and her music. She wrote, "Doja makes music for 10-year-olds and is very derivative. Cute girl, but her attempts at witty East Coast Roman reloaded flows are pitiful and not in the least amusing. And yes, she looked terrible before she lost weight." She went on to say that Doja has horrible bars and none of them make any sense. According to Banks, she adds nothing to the music world and needs to step up her pen game. Banks took the insult way too far when she was watching Doja's music video for Juicy. She wrote, "This bee is disgusting," and said her face looks drunk, tired, and lazy. The rapper also criticized photos from her Interview magazine cover shoot, saying that she deserved better and that there was a disgusting fridge in the background. Doja retweeted Azalea's comments, and in classic Doja fashion, she responded by saying, "I'm farting in a big way." Her clapbacks are so random but strangely effective. Number 4. Jennifer Lopez. So this one is pretty indefensible. Jennifer Lopez allegedly got a German hotel maid fired for asking for an autograph. Prey Dodaj was a staff member at the luxury Melia Hotel in Dusseldorf, Germany during Jennifer's stay in 2012. She was a really big fan of JLo Kudrow and had worked up the courage to knock on her hotel room door to ask for an autograph before she was promptly turned away. Pratt later claimed that she was relieved from her post the day after the incident. She told The Sun, quote, "I am an incredibly big fan, so I took all my courage and rang the bell to get an autograph. But I was rejected by 2 assistants at the door. A day later, the cleaning company that employed me at the hotel called and said that Ms. Lopez had complained. I was fired right there on the phone." If this incident really happened, it's hard to ignore the irony when you remember that Jennifer played a hotel maid in the movie Made in Manhattan. After receiving a rightful amount of backlash, the pop star wrote on Twitter, "Come on, thought you knew me better than this. Would never get anyone fired over an autograph. First I heard of this was on Twitter, #hurtful. Number 3, Toby Maguire. The actor started working in Hollywood when he was just a teenager, appearing in small roles in films and on television. But as he became more and more successful, he also started to develop a reputation of being difficult to work with. On top of that, there was also the infamous hidden movie. Back in the 90s, Leonardo DiCaprio and Toby Maguire made a movie with their friends, then for decades they tried to keep it from seeing the light of day. The movie is called Don's Plum, and it tells the story of a group of 20-something guys who gather every Saturday night at an LA diner, and each time they bring a new girl. The storyline is rampant with misogyny and graphic violence against women. The trouble is that the dialogue is entirely improvised, which makes it seem like the vulgarity we hear in the movie is something that the actors regularly say. This is why Leo and Toby turned their backs on the project when it was completed, because they were concerned about how they were being portrayed. Both of them fought to keep the film from ever being screened, which eventually resulted in a $10 million lawsuit and the film being banned in the country. Number 2, Alec Baldwin. The actor has a notoriously short temper, and there have been several instances where he's taken it out on random people. In 2011, Alec was forcibly removed from an American Airlines flight for unruly behavior. The story goes that the flight attendant allegedly asked him to turn off his phone and he refused. Then, being rude, he took his phone into the lavatory and slammed the door. For his part, he claimed that he was playing Words with Friends and that he was singled out just because of who he was. Oh, and he also complained that flying had become a Greyhound bus experience. The actor then attacked the company and tweeted, "Flight attendant on American reamed me out for playing Words with Friends while we sat at the gate not moving. #no wonder American Air is bankrupt." American Airlines then called him out on their Facebook page, saying the passenger was extremely rude to the crew, calling them inappropriate names and using offensive language. Alec then wrote a column apologizing to the fellow passengers who were delayed by the incident, but he did not take any responsibility and blamed the flight attendant, who he said singled him out to put his phone away, while other passengers continued to use theirs. But if anything, he was clearly upset that he didn't get any special treatment. And coming in at number 1, Christian Bale. The actor has had some seriously impressive roles in the past, but his reputation was put to the test during one infamous on-set meltdown. While he was filming Terminator Salvation, he had an angry outburst that left many of his co-workers stunned. The film's director of photography walked into Christian's eyeline on a day of shooting, and he totally went off, screaming and cursing at him. He has since apologized for his rant, calling it inexcusable and saying that he acted like a punk. In a lengthy apology, he admitted the week following the incident had been miserable for him. Christian said, "I was out of order beyond belief. I made no excuses for it. There is nobody who has heard the tape who has been hit harder than me. The one thing that disturbs me so much is that I've heard a lot of people saying that I seem to think that I'm better than everyone else." He insisted that nothing could be further from the truth, and said that he is a lucky man, which is why he puts so much into what he does. More than anything, Christian was worried that audiences would boycott the movie because of his actions. He said, "Please don't allow my incredibly embarrassing meltdown to overshadow this movie and to have all those people's hard work go to waste."
In fact, at number 10 is comedian Jerry Seinfeld. The most brilliant and iconic comedic minds in history, Jerry's bad attitude has become just as notorious. The Seinfeld star is on his best behavior during his show Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. However, his personality is obviously very different when he's not amongst friends, and especially when the cameras are no longer rolling. There have been many accounts of Jerry being pretty rude to interviewers, talk show hosts including Seth Meyers and the late Larry King, and fans. One fan in particular being the 2010 pop star Kesha. The singer once asked for a hug on a red carpet, and although no one is entitled to a hug, he was most definitely allowed to turn her down, but the way he did it was a bit excessive, turning to a nearby interviewer claiming he didn't know who she was, which would mean he must have been asleep for the entirety of the early 2000s. Although it's never great to be known as a mean guy, but I guess it's understandable for someone as famous as Jerry to have a bit of a diva persona. Coming in at number 9 is world famous chef and TV personality Rachel Ray. Fans and audience members complain that the bubbly cook may seem to actually keep her personality on a low simmer in real life. A former audience member of Rachel Ray's TV show claims the famous chef isn't quite so warm in person. In a review on TripAdvisor, the person claimed, when she came out to greet the audience, she was cold, even seemingly annoyed that she had to do the show. She complained, she rolled her eyes, she was not at all the perky, spunky personality we've come to know on her show. As well, a slew of fellow celebs, including fellow foodies Martha Stewart and the late Anthony Bourdain, have revealed that Rachel isn't amazing to be around and is in fact quite rude. Not just humans, but dogs as well have turned on the celebrity cook after her dog food brand was revealed to contain synthetic ingredients despite her initial claims that it was all natural. And coming in at number 8 is Megan Fox. Megan is ripped apart constantly for her attitude on sets. And I want to say first and foremost that the sheer amount of time she's been called out seems less like a coincidence and more like a deliberate attack on her character. Because of her apparent difficulty to work with, she was infamously replaced after the second Transformers film. Megan snapped back at this allegation, defending herself and calling the director Michael Bay the difficult one and was apparently a nightmare to work with. Crew members proving loyalty to Bay anonymously came forward against Megan and agreed that she was hard to work with and rude to multiple of her co-workers. The tumultuous relationships between the two led Megan to be replaced by Rosie Huntington-Whiteley in the third film of the franchise. At number 7 is Azealia Banks. Banks is the mean girl, or more truthfully, Azealia is just a straight up bully. More times than not, she has an Instagram story posted where she's reaming out some unknowing celebrity for something so vague they probably can't make out what she's even talking about. As well, the rapper has been suspended from Twitter many times, in one instance because of her series of absolutely vile, homophobic, and racist attacks against Zayn Malik. The rapper used abusive and brash language in her rant, even calling the former One Direction star a few slurs. This was all in the name of what she thought was stolen concepts from one of her videos to use in his clip for Like I Would. This wasn't Banks' first rodeo with Twitter beef, because back in 2014, Iggy Azalea was also at the receiving end of a bizarre racially fueled tirade of the controversial rapper. She called out Iggy for staying quiet on the Black Lives Matter issues, calling her an igloo Australian, and accusing her for not standing up for other important issues, which I guess she could be correct about. At number 6 is the original diva herself, Mariah Carey. If she's not arguing with producers or forcing hotels to roll out red carpets for her, then she's sparking a feud on social media or in the press. Mariah holds one of the longest running celebrity feuds in the common era with her fellow singer Jennifer Lopez. Beginning in the early 2000s, Mariah was asked about other singers during an interview, and she described Beyonce as a good writer, but when asked about J-Lo, the Christmas queen responded with, "I don't know her," and she's continued to repeat the infamous line ever since. Though more recently, Jennifer has taken a more mature approach to this beef, showing that the whole feud is probably one-sided and coated with jealousy on Mariah's part. When asked by Wendy Williams what she thinks about Mariah saying she doesn't know her, J-Lo replied by saying, "She does that. She's forgetful, I guess." In recent years, Mariah has added a second pop girlie to her hate roster with Ariana Grande, who appears to be her natural-born rival. Fans have compared the singers for years, which Ariana has called a compliment, though clearly Mariah does not share this opinion. With rumors of her nasty comments often becoming headlines, it caused fellow pop star Demi Lovato to weigh in, slamming Mariah for her attitude towards other singers. Demi has said that Jennifer Lopez keeps it classy, but I'm not afraid to say it, that woman is mean for no reason. Extremely talented? Yes. Superhuman? Possibly. Unnecessarily rude? Absolutely. We've known Mariah Carey has had this feisty attitude for her entire career, and I think if she switched up now, it wouldn't even make sense for her brand. At our midway point, we have Naomi Campbell coming in at number 5. The super famous 90s supermodel Naomi Campbell has had her fair share of controversies about her violent and rude behavior. One of her infamous tantrums was in 2007 when she threw a phone at her maid's head. She was also involved in other assaults where she was accused of being physically violent with staff and law enforcement. There has also been a decades-long running rift between Naomi and fellow model Tyra Banks, and both ladies have definitely had their time in the limelight of scandal. Naomi took it upon herself to set the record straight and posted an article to her Instagram about how Tyra was the mean girl, not her. Yeah. Real nice girl behavior there, I'd say. And at number 4 is the wonderful Rihanna, and it hurts me a bit to put someone so fantastic on this list, but hey, it shows that we all have our moments. In 2014, Rihanna was accused of cyberbullying a 16-year-old fan named Alexis Carter. Alexis Carter had made an appearance at a Hollywood-themed prom in Baltimore with a similar dress as Rihanna and posted a picture on social media. She decided on this outfit to pay homage to the star, but Rihanna didn't respond with the same respect, and more so with jokes. Rihanna went to Twitter to post herself wearing the outfit alongside the girl with the caption "IG and real life" and a sad emoji, and then in another picture tweeted a few minutes later to her 35 million followers, Rihanna posted a photo of the teen next to a bat-like logo of the Wu-Tang Clan, and she also retweeted the hashtag #prombat. Now our number 3 spot goes to Jesse Eisenberg. Now Eisenberg has made it clear that he is indeed a little awkward when it comes to human interaction, but the claim can only excuse her poor behavior for so much. During an interview on Say My Name, the vivarium actor actor was straight up rude to Romina Puga. Jessie makes a number of critiques to Puga's interview style, jokingly accusing her of having basic interview questions written and of her being on his time when she tells him to hurry up. He had at one point during the interview told Romina to cry after the interview. The clip went viral on Twitter, which led many watchers calling him out for being quite mean, rude, and obnoxious. Although Eisenberg has an obvious dry style of humor, Romina shared how his insults and comments hurt her. However, Jessie has addressed the accusations of being a jerk to the journalist, saying, "I remember she was laughing. Even after I left, I said to the people in the room, what a relief. Like, that was the most funny, interesting interview I had all day, and that all the backlash felt completely opposite to the energy he had thought he was creating in the room." Our runner-up on this list is Tina Fey, who is actually a self-described former mean girl. Taking accountability is always great. The SNL comedian says that she was a Regina George growing up, which she now admits was not a good look. Fey said to Net-a-Porter magazine that "I was the mean girl, I admit it openly. That was a disease that had to be conquered. It's another coping mechanism. It's a bad coping mechanism, but when you feel less than, which in high school everyone feels less than everyone else for different reasons, in your mind, it's a way of leveling the playing field. Though of course, it's not. Saying something terrible about someone does not actually level the playing field. Even these days, Fey admits to still feeling a little surge of fear whenever she spots a younger mean girl out and about, clearly having had more than enough inspiration when writing the 2004 hit comedy Mean Girls. She said to the aforementioned publication, "If I met a girl of 14 or 15 today who is that kind of girl, I am secretly in my body afraid, even though I'm 45. And honestly, I sort of relate to her on this. But I've also been a teenage girl before, and I know they're probably more scared of me than I am of them." And last but not least, the #1 spot on our list goes to Michael Myers, the comedian and not the murderer. After a successful ride on SNL, starring in multiple thriving movie franchises, including but not limited to Shrek and Austin Powers, he's become a household name. However, as of late, the actor has fallen out of the limelight, along with a bit of a fall from grace. Many co-stars and crew have coined him as a total diva. As much as his personality on screen may seem lighthearted and fun, Amy Hill, Mike's Cat in the Hat co-star, revealed in an interview with the AV Club that working with the man was miserable. Apparently he kept everyone waiting and even had someone feed him chocolates on set. Hill also claimed that Myers didn't like anyone looking at him on set, saying he had his handlers dress his trailer and his area was all covered with tenting because he didn't want anybody seeing him. Hill claimed of the actor, who she also called a little hermit. She added, "It was so weird, it was just the worst." Honestly, this may have started as a case of Myers being a bit of a mean girl, but I think there may be some bigger issues at play.
At number 10, Rick Ross. On the Late Late Show with James Corden, he has a game called Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts, in which his guests have to either answer a question that could potentially get them in a bit of trouble or eat a bit of something nasty. 3 years ago, Corden was playing the game with actress Demi Moore. She asked him to name one celebrity who's disappointed him. Of course, as a talk show host, he didn't want to hurt any feelings, but since he was looking down at a mayo, cheese curd, and soy sauce smoothie, he decided to answer. The host explained his answer by telling Moore and the viewers that in the early days of the show, Corden had come up with a musical spoof about binge-watching Netflix to the tune of Ross's hit song Hustlin'. The men were supposed to be performing the song, but I guess before they could, he had a change of heart. Corden said, "We sent the stuff to Rick's people and Rick had seen it, loved it, and was so excited to do it." But then Corden and a crew member did the routine for Rick in the empty studio for the rapper to watch. Following that, Ross said, "Cool, I'm just gonna go to the restroom." Corden said about 20 minutes later, "We just stood there and he hadn't come back." Turns out Ross decided to leave and his manager came back to say, "Yeah, Rick's not gonna do that." At number 9, Pierce Brosnan. I guess James Corden's Fill Your Guts or Spill Your Guts game is effective because Rick Ross wasn't the only star he called out on his show. During the segment this time, however, guest Khloe Kardashian asked the host, "Name a celebrity who's been rude to you at a party." Initially, Corden was hesitant to answer the question, but you could tell a name came to his mind right away. Of course, being on the audience's side, Kardashian encouraged the host to spill. Finally, he caved and named actor Pierce Brosnan. The story goes that apparently at a U2 concert, Brosnan bumped into the host and his wife, but never apologized. Corden went on to explain, saying, "I've literally never felt anything like it. His arm went onto mine and just pushed me out of the way." Corden then added that he looked back at Brosnan and he didn't even glance at him, just moved back into his area just like that. Kardashian then suggested that he might have been drunk, to which Corden responded with, "Maybe he's just a bit rude." Mistake or not, next time Brosnan and months into someone, he'll make sure it's not a late night host. That being said, Corden is one to talk, considering not too long ago he was banned from a restaurant for his rude behavior. At number 8, Cardi B. It's no secret that the rapper from New York is not afraid to fight. If you get on Cardi's bad side, there's no telling what she might say or do to you. One person who found out fast was her Love and Hip Hop New York castmate, Aisha Davies. Cardi joined the cast of the reality show, which follows the lives and relationships of hip-hop artists in its 6th season. During a reunion episode, Cardi ended up being exposed for her rude behavior, with Aisha Davies being her target. Basically, there was a lot of drama between the cast members, and neither Cardi nor Davies had been particularly nice to each other. It all started because Davies did not like Cardi but would not give her a specific reason as to why. When at the reunion, Davies kept further avoiding the question, so Cardi B took off her shoe and nailed Davies in the chest with it. A quick brawl broke out between everyone before settling once again. This was a heavy shoe too, and it looked like it really hurt. It ended up that Davies was jealous of her boyfriend hanging out with Cardi, but regardless of what it was about, the rapper displayed some serious rude behavior. Regardless of who was in the right, there was never a need for things to get physical. At number 7, Christina Aguilera. Like a lot of other stars on the list, there have actually been quite a few occasions and even other stars who have had something negative to say about Aguilera. One specific star that exposed her for being rude is none other than the diva herself, Mariah Carey. Aguilera, I guess, did it to herself after stating in 2006 that Carey had slammed her at a party. Aguilera also made it a point to bring up Carey's 2001 breakdown. Aguilera said, "One time we were at a party and I think she got really drunk and she just had really derogatory things to say to me." Then she added, but it was at the time that she had that breakdown, so she might have been very medicated. Now, even if Carey did have something mean to say about her, it was not very woman-supporting woman of Aguilera. I'm not saying she has to support all women, but she also doesn't have to talk badly about her on TV either. Of course, Carey did have something to say back, saying, "I'd hope that Christina was in a better place now than the last time I saw her when she showed up uninvited at one of my parties and displayed questionable behavior." Aguilera wasn't done yet though, because in 2015, when asked about not having a Las Vegas residency, the singer responded, "I won a Grammy this year. Why would I go to Vegas and join Britney and Mariah in the Oldies Act?" At number 6, Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen had a bit of a scandal a few years ago when people started coming out and exposing her for not being as nice as she claims to be on the show. This was an especially damaging claim for DeGeneres because her literal tagline was, "Be kind to one another." Over the years, thanks to her own show, we can prove that the host has definitely had her fair share of rude moments. One moment that was particularly rude was when she made fun of a fan gift. DeGeneres was doing a segment on her show where she was talking about bad gifts that had been submitted by her viewers. At the end of the segment, she included a bad gift of her own, revealing a gift that she said was from a fan called JB. When she revealed the gift, it was a painting of both her and her wife Portia. The host joked, "It's called Ellen and Portia number 10. He took 10 tries, but he finally got it. He got it on number 10. DeGeneres threw a few digs at the painting, also indicating that it looked more like Ryan Seacrest and Kelly Ripa, saying she might have to gift it to them instead. To really drive home on how much she hated the handmade fan gift, she called it scary. And this is hardly the only time that she poked fun at her own viewers either. At number 5, Howard Stern. There have been countless times that Stern has exposed himself for being mean over the years, and I think hosting a live show has had a hand in that. Back in 2001, Stern had Freddie Prinze Jr. on the show, and he told the actor that his engagement and marriage to Sarah Michelle Gellar wouldn't last 10 years. Prinze and Gellar met on the set of famous horror flick I Know What You Did Last Summer and quickly became relationship goals within Hollywood. For some reason, Stern decided to share his thoughts on their relationship, which ended up being that they would spend a brief period of time sleeping together before going their separate ways. Stern was actually so confident in his own opinion that he put a large sum of money on the line. Stern bet Prinze $1 million that the couple wouldn't last long. In the interview, Stern said, "What are you gonna do when it's been 10 years with the same chick? You're gonna cheat." Despite the actor responding, "No, I'm not," to his quite rude assumption, Stern said, "I want to make a written bet with you now. In about 10 years, you're gonna hunt me down and go, 'Howard, I owe you money.'" Well, 10 years later, the couple is still together and they did not forget the bet. In 2022, Gellar took to Instagram to remind Stern of his debt, writing, "I think you owe us." At number 4, Mariah Carey. I mentioned the singer when talking about Aguilera being mean to her, but don't be fooled, Carey has had plenty of times where she was being exposed for her not so nice behavior too. One time, Carey was exposed for her rude behavior by her short-lived fellow American Idol judge, Nicki Minaj. The pair started as good friends, collaborating in 2009, with Minaj even praising her for being a sweet, down-to-earth person after expecting a diva. Minaj ended up speaking too soon because she eventually
eventually got a taste of that diva behavior. The women did not get along while both being judges on season 12 of American Idol. In 2013, the rapper opened up about her experience working with Carey, and it was totally different from her previous thoughts on Carey. Minaj spoke to Ellen DeGeneres, telling her that initially Minaj had heard that Carey did not want her on the panel, but she didn't believe it. However, when they did begin to work together, Minaj started to feel the shade, and that rumor she heard was sounding less and less like a rumor and more like a fact. Minaj even said that Carey overcompensated by being even crazier. Neither artist ended up returning to the show, and Fox executive Mike Darnell backed up Minaj when he said Minaj was not the problem, blaming Carey for the fighting. At number 3, Wendy Williams. The Wendy Williams show was on the air from 2008 all the way until 2022. That is 14 years of live TV talking with and about celebrities. With Williams, that also means 14 years of messy moments on the air. No one has ever had to come out and expose the host for her rude behavior because she does it all on her own. Williams once referred to actor Terry Crews coming forward and speaking out about his essay as not brave because he was just talking. Williams also once asked 18-year-old Marcus Scriber if he'd ever had sex before live on the show with the actor's father watching just off camera. He was clearly uncomfortable with the question and avoided giving the answer. Basically, Williams spent a decade making fun of the stars because the host also once made fun of Ariana Grande's appearance, claiming that because she's too small, she's not a woman. Williams said when you look too young and then you're short, she's only like 4'11", like I don't look at her as like a woman. Clearly, Williams has always truly said whatever comes to her mind, and unfortunately, it's often just mean. These examples don't even begin to scratch the surface either. At number 2, Barbara Walters. There seems to be a theme between celebrity interviews and the host not being nice. One woman known for her persistence for a story, even when inappropriate, is Barbara Walters. She has had many instances of being rude on air, but one particularly mean interview is her infamous one from 2000 with Ricky Martin. At the time, there were rumors going around surrounding Martin's sexuality. While so many people assumed Martin was gay, the singer did not go public about his sexuality until he published his 2011 memoir. During his interview with Walters, she urged Martin to stop these rumors and define his sexuality. Not only is it rude, it's just so unnecessary. I'm sure he had plenty of other things to talk about instead. Walters said, "You could say yes, I am gay, or no I'm not." Martin then replied, "Barbara, for some reason I just don't feel like it." Over 2 decades later in 2021, Martin said when she dropped the question, "I felt violated because I was just not ready to come out. I was very afraid." The singer also revealed that he suffers from PTSD stemming from the interview with Walters. There are plenty of other instances throughout her long career that Walters was exposed for being mean too. Ricky Martin is unfortunately just one of many. And at number 1, Madonna. Over the years, Cher and Madonna have not gotten along so well, and we know that because Cher has told us so on more than one occasion. When it comes to a few interviews though, I'm not sure which woman is being exposed for being mean. On one hand, Cher is telling us how rude Madonna is, and on the other hand, Cher is sitting on live TV trashing Madonna. Once, when asked about Madonna, Cher said, "There's something about her that I don't like. She's mean. I remember having her over to my house a couple times. She was just so rude to everybody. She acts like a spoiled brat all the time." Then directed towards Madonna, she said, "You should be a little more magnanimous and a little bit less of a C-word." Of course, Cher used the actual word, and in doing so, shocked the interviewer. I mean, maybe she's totally right and Madonna was really rude to her, but then again, she's saying some pretty mean things to the world. In another interview, Cher said about Madonna, she's unbelievably creative because she's not unbelievably talented. She's not beautiful, but she's rude.